As you watch this video, be aware of your surroundings. You might not be alone. If you enjoy paranormal stories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. The story I'm about to tell is based on real events, and some truths are better left undiscovered. A few years ago, in a quiet countryside town in England, a disturbing incident took place. This wasn't just one person's story. Several townspeople confirmed the same chilling details. And the most terrifying part? Even after all these years, no one can explain what really happened. This story belongs to Daniel Carter, a 26-year-old man who moved to the town in the autumn of 2017. Looking for a peaceful escape from city life, he purchased an old farmhouse at the edge of town. The previous owner, an elderly man, gave him a strange warning before handing over the keys. If you ever hear whispers at night, whatever you do, don't look out the window. They don't like to be seen. Daniel chuckled and dismissed it as the ramblings of an old man. But within a few days of moving in, he realized something was very wrong. The discovery of the diary. It started with small things. Doors creaking open on their own, unmistakable footsteps echoing from the attic, drawers being slightly open when he was sure they were closed. At first, Daniel thought he was imagining things. But then, the real horror began. One night, just as he was about to fall asleep, he heard it. A whisper. "Daniel!" His blood ran cold. Snapping his eyes open, he scanned the dark room. There was no one there. His mind screamed at him to turn on the light, but he was frozen in place. His heart pounded against his ribs. Slowly, he reached for the lamp, turned it on, and the whisper stopped. The next morning, shaken but trying to rationalize everything, Daniel explored the basement, hoping to clear his mind. That's when he found it. An old dust-covered diary lying on the floor. The pages were yellowed, some of the ink had faded, but what was written inside sent shivers down his spine. The diary belonged to a man who lived in the house in 1923. The first few entries described mundane daily life, but as he flipped through the pages, the tone shifted. The man spoke of whispers in the dark, reflections in the mirror that weren't his own, and shadows moving just outside his bedroom door. But then, Daniel saw something that made his stomach drop. The last entry. It read, November 4th, 2017, Daniel Carter. Daniel dropped the book in terror. That page shouldn't exist. He had never seen this diary before, but worse. That day was November 4th, 2017. Don't close your eyes. Daniel's mind raced. Was this a prank? A trick? Some twisted coincidence? Then he heard it. A slow dragging sound from the attic. The footsteps were heavier this time, more deliberate. And then the whisper came again. You found me. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The voice was right outside his bedroom door. His body refused to move. The air in the room felt suffocating. He had the overwhelming feeling that something was watching him. Then, in the dim light, he saw it. A shadow, slipping under the doorframe. A figure standing just behind the door. It wasn't human, and its feet weren't touching the ground. Daniel let out a strangled scream, yanked the door open, and bolted outside. The cold night air burned his lungs, but he didn't dare turn back. He knew something was staring at him from the window. That night, he slept in a motel. The next morning, he returned to town, determined to find the old man and demand answers. But when he asked about him, he received an answer that made his blood turn to ice. The old man had died that very morning, from a heart attack. And the worst part, the house Daniel bought had been abandoned for over 30 years. The townspeople called it the Vanishing House. Every single person who had ever lived there had either disappeared or fled, never to return. Daniel packed his things and left town that very day. But ever since that night, whenever he tries to sleep, he still hears the whisper. You found me. Some houses are not just made of bricks and wood. Some are built on forgotten spirits. What would you do? Would you stay in a house like this? Let me know in the comments. I'm Joseph from Joseph City. See you in the next paranormal story.